Warning! The following audio may contain coarse language and other material that may not be suitable for a younger audience. Listener discretion is advised. Also, we may spoil anything and everything, so you have been warned.
Now, I think it's a shame that waveforms go in both directions, because if they didn't, you'd be able to, draw a willy in the waveforms with your voice.
It's a little harder to do that, yeah. I've seen people try to do it at least.
It goes in both directions.
You can still draw a willy.
It's just hard.
I could just get a Sharpie out and draw on my monitor, but I don't think I'd appreciate that.
So you start off at a medium level, and then you go loud, and then you go quiet, and then loud again. So it's like
wow, wow.
Oh, wow.
Whoa!
That just looks like a fucking what that looks like is a bell end.
Yeah, no, I thought that was the objective.
Wow.
Oh my god, R.I.P. already.
Yeah, there we go. It's a cock. I drew a cock in the waveforms.
Hello, welcome to Potaku, where we're trying to draw a cock with our waveforms. I'm sure. I'm sure we've been missed.
Oh, I just drew a fucking maraca.
Hello everybody, how's it going? I'm Holden, from Holden Shippuden. This is the time skip episode.
Okay.
And today with me, I have Jimmy from Nino, also known as Nino, you're not from Nino, you're from Anime Editorial.
Yes, finally you got the name of the show right. Konnichiwa, minasan.
Did you even
What's
have
up,
that
guys?
show name last time we did this?
Yeah, I did. Did I?
I don't know if we did.
I don't know.
I know that there's a lot of things that a lot of people didn't have. For instance, Hillary Clinton did not have a chance, and now suddenly we're looking at maybe the grim reality of her and Donald Trump.
Exactly.
So, in addition, I also have Alan from Bakashu.
Yo.
And my right-hand man, Garant from Giga, also known as Giga, from
Sup?
the Anime
Well,
Zone.
My god, Holden, you forgot my name, Holden. Jesus
been
Christ.
so
But,
long.
it's been so long, yeah.
It's been so long that Holden's forgotten your name.
It's been like, what, 9 months? By the way, this is nothing new to Holden or Holden Reviews.
This is nothing new to anybody in this chat. We've all of us personally, right? The funny thing about this entire thing is we've all taken massive breaks individually, but we've always come back to Potaku to talk to each other and release content.
Yeah.
Like that. It never. Potaku itself as an entity never died down. That was always the thing that kept making videos. But now,
Well, until recently.
now 8 months later, 8 months later.
I was going to say, I don't know if we can really say that after
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, me and Garn we've always talked about how, Potaku was always the excuse to not make content.
Exactly. And I always used to tease Gon about this. You wouldn't make a video and you just say stuff, and I would just say stuff like, oh, you haven't made a video. Are you just trying to use Potaku as your safety cushion? And Gon would be like, fuck yeah, I am.
Fuck yeah, I am.
So,
I mean, I'm just talking to a bunch of twats with my microphone. I mean,
Exactly.
how easy is that?
Don't have to do anything.
to do anything. So, like any time skip manga.
Things have changed.
Things have changed.
Things have changed. You guys have read enough time skips to know that there's a period of time when you watch the next episode and you're just like, I wonder where everyone is right now. And you go along with the episode and you see what new people look like, the new character designs, the new power levels.
People have passed the Chunin exam. People have ascended to Bankai. People are getting. People have left the village. People have
left the village.
Yes.
Exactly. So
and just the rules have changed, and everyone's gone through their training arc. And some people like Krillin have decided to just stop fighting.
Yeah.
So just to update everyone on where Potaku is right now. So there is no more A team and B team. We will just have a Potaku. So J-Taku, unfortunately, is kill for the moment.
And I am posthumously naming J-Taku Jimmy Taku. So
No. For
book,
the record, Jay.
It was Japan Taku. Everyone who was fucking wrong for all those years, it was Japan.
I don't
the
know
J
how
was
anyone
Japan.
thought it could be anything else.
Yeah.
Oh my god, we had all
this
the
is jalapeno taco. We talk about Mexican food.
Fucking crazy hypotheses as to what the J and J Taku meant.
People were like, there's like two people whose names start with J, so it's got to be Gene and Jimmy. Therefore, it's like, oh gosh, God.
And I'm like, guys, come on, son.
Maybe it was Jesus Taku, and we were always just trying to convert you all to Christianity all along.
No, it was like J-Taku, as in Jay. Like, we just had someone named Jay.
Yeah, someone named Jay.
But, Yeah, J-Taku is Kill.
Shout out to Baron J.
Or also, some members have decided to retire, and we would like to honor them now. So, firstly, Gene, unfortunately, as much as we love you, Gene, has decided to retire from the podcast.
And not just from the podcast, I think it can be safe to say...
From the internet at large.
Yes, she has retired from the internet at large.
The only way I've been able to contact her is her cell phone.
Yeah.
So if you were trying to contact her, good luck. You're never going to happen.
Yeah, so, Gene, if you actually listen to this, we miss you,
Yes.
and you're welcome back anytime. But we are happy for the new life that you found.
Yes.
Also, Suin has also decided to retire from the podcast.
Yeah, bless her heart.
Bless her heart.
We're gonna miss her.
Yes.
We're gonna miss her. She was probably one of my favorite members, one of my closest friends that I ever made through
Yes.
J-Taku. And I'm still gonna be friends with her, obviously. Even appear on other podcasts with her, just not this one.
And again, Suin, if you're listening to this, we will always welcome you back with open arms. As for the future cast members, well...
We don't fucking know.
we don't know
Demo
anymore.
confirmed. I'm talking to Demolition.
Fuck
Bean.
you! I'm bleeping that out.
Digiro confirmed. Dude, Misty Carnexia, where art thou?
No. We
Or Neverworld
Mr.
is
Anime
found.
confirmed.
I'm gonna
Everyone-
Prisons, dude, we bring him up for prison school, dude. We're like, how accurate is this?
Watch Mojo confirms,
Wow,
everyone.
that got really tasteless really fast.
Every single fucking person on the Watch Mojo list is gonna be in.
Oh my fucking god! But yeah, so the difference now is that we might bring on guests that weren't
No.
previously shown.
Well,
So
they're not
that's
guests.
Open. If we're friends with them or whatever,
yes.
if they're not a total bell.
Exactly.
And the
basically,
thing is,
we'll see what we can do. We may not. We're not promising anything. It's not a popularity contest or anything, so we might bring in someone who has nothing.
Yeah.
Someone who has a lot.
And
I
It's
mean,
completely up to
just
us.
because Holden says you might bring in someone who has nothing, please don't. Please, all of you.
No.
Please, all of
If
you.
I don't know who the
50
fuck you are, first a disclaimer. I don't know who you are. Probably.
no.
But
Disclaimer: if you want to join our podcast, please send an application form to.
No, like
Poddocu at
if
gmail.com.
I don't know you, if
We-
I
we-
don't know you, and you have
We
like
will
50
be expecting a full resume and reference.
And a covering letter.
If I don't know you, right?
I need references from at least 12 18, at least 2 people from the A tier list on the hierarchy. That's enough.
No, but if I don't know you and you've got like 50 subscribers, please don't blow up my YouTube, my email, my
Blow
Twitter,
the fuck up.
my Ask.fm. Please don't attack me. And I know some of you have started to figure out that my Skype is my regular name, so don't come to me on Skype asking to be in J-Taku or Podtaku, whatever. Please, and that goes for the rest of us. Please don't bother us trying to get in.
Please let it be known
like-
that Jimmy is the one who will decide who gets in the podcast. So if you want to know, if you want to bug anyone, please bug
If you're
him.
gonna bug anyone, please bug me in the comments. I always respond to that shit. I control F my name because I'm a narcissist and I'm all about that shit.
But Gon, isn't it kind of funny though that we're saying all this now, but if not for that kind of thinking, I wouldn't be.
No, I mean
like
that's a lot of our stories.
Yeah.
The only difference was mine was a lot more elegant.
But yes, Podtaku will be more of a community now. Obviously with the core members who were here before. But there may be some new faces. We don't know who, but this is going to be a community podcast.
We also don't know when.
We don't know when. We don't know how long.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Who.
So the reason there was a hiatus in the first place is because we have moved on with our lives. Some people have graduated.
Full-time
Some people
jobs.
have jobs.
Yeah.
Some people are still in college.
Some people are moving to Japan.
Oh my god.
some people are.
I'm going to Japan.
Some people have to clean rifles all day.
Yep.
Dude, okay, we've been there, Jimmy.
Yeah.
We both have been
Yes.
Yeah, Jimmy joined the
just
army.
Don't expect.
I didn't necessarily.
there. Joined the army. Holy shit, that would have been
Can you
literally America's biggest mistake. Just allowing Jimmy.
Me joining.
Literally the Black Panther incarnate, just like,
Just
give
like-
me a gun,
Full metal Jimmy jacket.
kill the honkies, let's go.
Oh wow, that would have been a bad idea on so many accounts.
No, yeah.
This is-
So what? Jimmy's not a part of the army,
No.
but he does. He does.
This
get
is
paid
this
to work
isn't
with-
Full Metal Jimmy.
No, he's not part of the army. He's part of the rap army. He's like, there are many microphones, but this one is
that is
mine.
true.
I am the bone of my mic. I have spat on 1,000 tracks. known to
I'm the
beef, not known to make meals.
But anyway, okay,
let's
to move on,
go.
the point of that was that everyone has moved on with their lives now, so at the moment, we can't promise a regular schedule. We'll see how it goes, but we can't promise it right now.
So, okay, before we get to what we've been watching, I think there's a few things that have been happening over the course of, forever.
The course of
that we haven't
forever.
talked about yet. So that I would just like to briefly bullet point, just to say I can say that I've talked about them. So the first thing that I'd like to talk about was the fact that this is gonna be a throwback. Shinzo Abe, the Prime Minister of Japan, was at the White House, and Obama thanked him for anime and manga as well as emojis.
If you go to that video,
when was this news? How
This
old
was
is
April
this?
28th, 2015.
Yeah,
Wow.
Hey, Alan,
if you
we've got
if you
8
go
months of news to catch up with. So,
Oh man,
Yeah.
it's gonna be a long fucking
No, but-
episode, guys. Sit tight, go get yourself a
if
cup
you go
of
to
tea.
that video, the top, I think 5 comments are all Potaku members. You've got me, you've got Holden, and you've got Gun.
Yeah.
So all of us are just there.
Yeah,
mucking
we're just
about.
like, and it's like the White House's channel or something. Like it's really awesome. I still get
Yeah.
occasionally likes on it. It's really funny. Another thing is
I get likes and all the
from July 6th, we had the Megabots challenge, the Shindobashi Industries, which was the Mark II versus the Karatas.
America's
so on July
gonna
6th,
get whipped.
July 6th, 2016, we'll have a mecha battle apparently.
Yeah,
America
America.
I don't know
Gotta
about
do an
I don't know
episode
about
about
America getting whipped. I don't know if this is Silent Toe. I don't know if he can whip it because the Mark II weighs 12,000 pounds, where the Karas only weighs 9,000. Just something to consider. I think it's literally just going to come down to just 2 dominoes hitting each other in the heavier ones.
Exactly.
Pretty much.
I think it's probably the extent of our battle tactics yet,
Yeah.
until we probably get a plug. Soon.
Yep.
And then the other thing,
it's gonna be awesome. It's even if it's just
it's gonna be cool.
if it's gonna be fucking awesome.
It's a cool idea.
Even if it's gonna be
nothing
like, even
else.
if it's just gonna be like Robot Wars with big robots. Like, who remembers Robot Wars here?
Nah.
Everyone.
Of course.
Back in the day.
Fucking god, I love Craig Charles.
Craig fucking Charles, man.
Craig Charles, dude.
Who is everyone's favorite robot from Robot
Oh
Wars?
man,
Razor.
that
Razor.
Yeah,
Razor,
Razor's
yeah,
my
Razor's the
favorite.
fucking
Razor's
best
fucking
one.
pro.
I remember when Hypnodisc first came out, and he just obliterated
Oh man, wow.
everything, and you're just like,
Yeah, and then it just got wrecked by Chaos 2 because it didn't have a fucking Shremek.
And then they just gave it the Amita drive and shit, and they just opened the Satori program, and it was just batshit crazy.
Just went Transam Hypnodisc.
Transam Hypnodisc. Oh.
Something interesting to talk about was a while ago, Garrett, that you made a tweet that was really interesting, and it was that you are wholeheartedly glad that we live in an era where I can say I'm watching Kekai Sensen dubbed and not mean I'm a year behind everyone. And I just wanted to touch base on that because it's very interesting that we live in a season now where we can watch anime that are seasonal with a dub. It's a pretty crazy world that we live in.
We all know the reason why this is happening, and it's really simple. 2 words are the reason behind it, and that's Space Dandy. Like, the
well,
success-
yeah,
That's
okay,
one.
wait. Wasn't the
I wouldn't
last
necessarily credit
wait.
it.
Wasn't the very last Potaku episode named "The Future of Dubbing" or something?
yeah,
like that?
yeah,
no,
it was.
The evolution of dubbing.
Yeah,
I don't
the
even-
evolution of
I think it was
dubbing.
maybe.
I don't even think I watched that one. I that was probably during my.
Just like, I'm not in this episode, it's
yeah.
crap.
Yeah, I'm not in this episode. I don't have to
Yeah.
fucking watch it. Yeah, but
I mean, if I'm not in the episode, God knows I don't listen to it again, because I was there. I was IRL. It's really interesting. I don't know if Space Dandy is the single attributing force.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily think you could say
I feel
that.
like it's not just Space Dandy. I feel like it's just
It
the
isn't.
change,
I don't-
the change of the anime fan in the 21st century.
I feel like
I think Funimation is just feeling pressure
Yeah.
that they're feeling finally.
I'm sure Funimation just feels pressure because you've got to evolve with the times. And that's
Funimation,
the thing
that's the
Funimation's
only thing
trying-
Funimation can offer that, like, for instance, Crunchyroll cannot.
To be honest, the funniest thing about Funimation in 2015 and even kind of in 2014 that's kind of scaring me and anyone else who owns a Crunchyroll subscription, they're getting all the shows.
They are. Okay, here's
The-
here's an open message to Funimation. Please make your shit available in the fucking UK or any other English-speaking region, because I will pay good money to get a membership if you give me the opportunity.
And the second, and an
you are
addendum to that
sitting
open letter.
on a fucking gold mine,
Yeah.
and you're just not sharing it with anyone else in the world. So please,
Disclaimer:
Funimation.
anything Jimmy adds to this letter, subject to our.
No, but an addendum to that open letter, and I'm not sure Holden would want to remove it.
And that's why I'm saying that I have the
And
position
anyway-
to veto this.
Like, fix your video player. Fix it. You don't have a better video player than Crunchyroll. Like it stops, it lags,
Wait,
sometimes
is it worse than Crunchyroll's? Because Crunchyroll
No,
really does
Crunchyroll-
like to shit itself.
Whoa, no.
Immediately.
Open letter to Crunchyroll as well. Thank you.
Fix it.
Thank you for making it so that if you full screen something and it goes on to the next episode, that it stays full screen.
Full screen.
Yeah.
God damn, that was so annoying before. Can we all just agree on that?
Yeah.
Like,
So to everyone
pretty
out there, go to crunchyroll.com/the anime zone for a
No, don't do it!
premium membership.
Yo, dude, funny enough, about the whole Crunchyroll shilling thing, right? I saw a channel with less subscribers than me that was a Crunchyroll ambassador, and I was thinking to myself,
That's such
and
bullshit.
I was thinking to myself,
I was like, fuck.
you guys are
myself
obviously
that
sucking the
Crunchyroll
wrong dicks.
You know what's interesting, right? This is just another interesting side note. At Anime Central this year, I was able to meet with Sailor B, right?
Ah, Victoria.
Victoria. Yeah, and so I've talked to her, and she was aware of who I was, and I was aware of who she was and stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
and she gave me
her last name is the same as your first name.
Holden. I know. I said this is a very coincidental
Oh, God,
meeting.
Holden, you should marry her. Then she be
I've
called
been
Holden
wanting
Holden.
to.
That'd be amazing.
I've been thinking about it. She's a beautiful woman. First off, Victoria. But so we had this talk about it, and she gave me her number and stuff. And so I should to contact her about getting it once I ever do put out videos again. Very nice person. Crunchyroll has a lot of interesting customer support like that. They're pretty much everywhere, at like every convention, I guess.
so you're
Even stuff that
you're
isn't-
gonna be a Crunchyroll ambassador?
Potentially, yeah.
Ah,
I should have talked to her, but yeah.
Everyone's getting it except me.
Dude, just crunchyroll.com/.
Jimmy, if you stop
There it
blooming
is.
tweeting about Gamergate and get your act together.
All right. Let's not talk about what I tweet on my
Let's
own.
let's
Put that-
talk about Jimmy and public relations.
All right.
Let's-
What's wrong?
Let's talk about
First of
the
all,
issues.
what's wrong with my public relations? I haven't pissed off anybody
What
in 4
public
months.
relations?
I haven't pissed
Jimmy,
No,
you're so easily
it's
triggered.
awful.
The moment anything bothers you, you go on like a tweet
you go on
rant
in all
about it.
caps. You go on in all caps, and now that first off, open letter to Twitter. Thank you for giving us the ability to quote tweets, which Jimmy's been abusing the fuck out of. Because
thanks
Jimmy
for,
just quotes everything and just writes, "Psh, "No, dude, you wrong, dog."
Just thanks for giving me the ability to unfollow people.
Yeah, the thing is, right? Everyone's unfollowed me, so they can't see how much I've mellowed out. But everyone,
I check back every now and then. 'cause
I know
I'm like,
Philip
maybe I want to
DeFranco
follow
sure
Jimmy
as hell
again.
hasn't
And I get back and
unblocked
like,
you
no.
yet.
I mean,
It's still in too deep.
I've mellowed out. Because especially now that I'm back making videos again, I've because now I have other things to do and not just sit on Twitter and blast people. all
Well,
day.
so you were blueballing.
We are not here to be a Jimmy support group about PR.
And then now you finally masturbated. And it's just
we are not a Jimmy support group about
Yeah,
fucking
kind
PR.
of. Because I wanted to do something on the internet and interact with people.
Jimmy
So
still hasn't wanked in 4 days.
I love how that's gonna be my catchphrase till I fucking
Jimmy still
die.
hasn't wanked in 9 months since the last episode came
Yeah,
out.
I actually have not wanked since
There it
the
is,
last
9
Kotaku
months.
I was in. Wow, that's messed up.
Okay.
That's messed up.
Crazy.
But yeah.
Mentaku 2 when, guys? Mentaku
Shut
2
up.
when?
But
That's just
so-
an urban legend.
An interesting thing
like
that goes
Bigfoot.
along. An interesting thing that goes along with this, though, and like video playing, is that on September 2nd, Japan is actually going to be getting, for the first time legally, Netflix, and that's a huge deal. Okay, this is a
Ooh.
big deal.
Wow.
Japan is
They have not had Netflix until September 2nd, so I'll arrive on September 1st. You know, the country will be there to greet me, and then Netflix comes out.
I can imagine holding. I can
Oh
imagine
man,
holding.
so are you
the way
going to
Holden's
watch the
saying it.
Japanese dub of Titanic as soon as you get
So no,
there?
this is what's interesting, right? So there's a lot of interesting things about
Yeah.
this, right? So for
Netflix
instance,
exclusive anime.
Knights of Sidonia, right, immediately comes to mind.
Yeah.
Knights of Sidonia, owned by Netflix. They're of course going to be launching with it. Netflix went very wholeheartedly and was like, "Yes, Knights of Sidonia is going to be provided and stuff." But this opens up the question about, because they've stuff like Daredevil, House of Cards, all of this series that Netflix owns. The question is, what series is Netflix going to be acquiring from Japanese publishers? So I think that's really interesting, because J-dramas, right? All of that kind of stuff, anime itself.
Yeah.
There could be exclusive content signed to Netflix, because now Netflix is no longer a foreign property. It's not just some company. It has a direct effect on their market.
Yeah.
And if we know anything about Japan, we know they don't give a shit about us, but they care a hell of a lot about their shelf life in their country. And if Netflix can prolong that, market it, anything, we could see a lot of interesting changes to anime and the way it's distributed just because of Netflix coming out in the East? Like, what do you guys think about that?
First off, I think the first thing we need to discuss is what is popular in Japan in terms of media and television. Because I doubt we're going to be seeing a whole heap ton of otaku o'clock TV shows being put on Netflix. And you guys know what I mean when I say otaku o'clock, like the typical like otaku driven.
We don't know that though. That's
like,
the thing.
We don't know. This is just me like speculating.
Because when you look at Netflix now, right, and you see Pretty Little Liars, you think, man, Netflix just has no taste.
No.
And then you see Always Sunny Days in Philadelphia, and you're like, man, these people are geniuses.
I wholeheartedly think they're gonna put a bunch of shows on there. But the first things that come to mind are the shows that are extremely popular in Japan. I bet we're gonna see One Piece if it's not already.
And but like that alone is such a huge step, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Because think about this: if Netflix is able to get first-hand deals, Crunchyroll and Funimation could be screwed because they would be the primary contractors to the Japanese. Because the difference between the two is that Crunchyroll and Funimation do not cater to a Japanese audience, so they care a lot less about it. Whereas if they've signed an exclusive contract with Netflix, Netflix being an international company will get worldwide distribution rights in the process.
Well, they won't get worldwide because Crunchyroll and Funimation have already signed their deals for
the shows that they have.
For the shows that they have for American distribution rights.
Well, the main thing is, Jimmy, is that with new things coming out every season, the whole problem with streaming in general is that there's lots of things just not being picked up.
Back in 2012, back from like 2011 all the way up to like 2014, the thing about Crunchyroll is you sign up for Crunchyroll, you're signing up for every anime coming out in that season. That's how it used to be. But then
Funimation came along.
Yeah,
to quote 2001 in Anime Odyssey, things aren't like that anymore.
like Funimation came along and was just like, oh, what's that? You want stuff made by Bandai? Oh no, sorry, Bandai is for us now. I'm sorry.
One question, Holden. What sort of streaming services does Japan have, if at all, at the moment?
Exactly. So that's the thing. They have almost nothing.
Because what I see it like this. If they don't have any streaming services currently, and this sort of opens up the idea of streaming to their shores, that could potentially have a ridiculously positive effect over here, because if streaming is now something on their agenda, they can then look into its international implications.
Yeah, I'm not saying that this is negative, because what's interesting is that everything that this implicates is positive to us in some way.
Well, it's certainly not negative, but I do question how much an effect it will have. I mean, in terms of streaming,
because it may not be at all. That is
also to refer to that thing you said. Alan.
It's Netflix. That's the thing. Yeah. It's not like Viewster, right? It's not something that is up and coming.
Yeah, it's not like. But the thing,
it's Netflix.
I mean, the thing
what
is,
you just said.
It all comes down to what makes money. And you're right. Netflix is an international company, but from a money point of view, how much money does anime make in comparison to some of the other stuff that they license?
Sure, but there's a lot of interesting implications with that, because what this could do because this could only help anime as far as I'm concerned, right? Airing it on TV still doesn't make you money, because you're still competing against everything else and the heinous time slots. If you were to air stuff as well onto Netflix, people could watch it to their own accord and get more of a following from that.
But what about?
So I think that's the biggest reason I think anime companies are going to look.
And I know you're thinking about this as well, and I know you've already thought about this, but anime.
Okay, Mr. Joseph Joestar.
Yeah, Netflix exclusive anime. Like Netflix,
no.
Netflix
I mean,
own, like
Knights of Sidonia is already a huge step in that direction.
Like, because also, if you guys have noticed, Kickstarter, and I'm working on some content to talk about this, but in a short nutshell, Kickstarter isn't changing the animation industry, like little by little. It
isn't or is?
It is.
I completely agree.
Kickstarter it's bridging a certain gap that's always been
huge.
Yeah, Kickstarter's starting to bridge the gap between East and West when it comes to animation styles. For example, Cannon Buster. I showed Cannon Buster to some people and like, oh, is this new anime? Which studio's making it? And I'm like, oh no, it's made by an American. Like, oh wow, but it's got a Japanese studio working on it. So
I was about to say it's not.
Yeah,
it's partially
made by an American, but it's got. Let's
give LaShawn Thomas as little credit as possible. First off, and say Thomas, if you're watching, thank you, LaShawn, Thomas. Your mecha designs are amazing.
Me and Holden want to work for you someday, LaShawn. But anyway,
yes, and Thomas.
But yeah, like Bahi JD is working on it, and Bahi JD has always been like a free gun just to shoot at any anime you're making.
He tweeted at me once, and that was the highlight of my life.
But yeah, so like the thing about Crunchyroll is, I'm not saying Crunchyroll. The thing about Kickstarter is anime that obviously had no shot of getting made by any particular production company are getting funded and getting made. Like Kick Heart. Like which TV station was going to air Kick Heart? Like if you just talked about it,
it would need a long.
Well, Kick Heart would never have been a thing shown on TV. Yeah, it would have gone straight to Blu-ray.
It would have gone straight to Blu-ray, exactly. But it would have been just some kind of OVA. But now they, like actually.
So we should all fund Devil's Legacy.
Devil's.
We can't anymore. They took it down. Oh gosh.
Let's not bring that up.
Oh,
but yeah, so like the thing about it,
R.I.P. Under the Dog.
Yeah, is Under the Dog still happening? Is that like?
Yes, I get emails from it like once a month.
Yeah,
still.
Yeah, it's still in the grey area.
It's still fine.
It's still in a weird place. But yeah,
it still has hundreds.
I feel like we're gonna
thousands.
see more anime with the kind of intent that Kickstarter anime have being made for Crunchyroll, because Crunchyroll really, what am I saying? For Netflix in Japan, because Netflix. Like, as we've seen with Netflix original TV shows, they're willing to put stuff that would not get on TV on Netflix. Like,
I agree with that.
Like House of Cards, it's a great show, but it's a primetime show, but it doesn't have primetime content. It has content.
When it comes to TV shows in the West, there is a massive looming dread of cancellations that sort of falls over everything, and with any sort of when you've got a better way to assess your fan base and people subscribing to services like that, it's a lot less likely for things to be cancelled because the stuff's already there.
Well, you're paying for a certain amount because that's exactly what you're funding for.
Plus, unlike TV, you can calculate way more metrics with something like Netflix than you can with television. Like you can calculate how long they're watching it. You can calculate like which episodes they go to first. You can calculate which episodes do they watch. Like towards.
I'd assume they go to episode 1 first. Otherwise, they're fucking crazy. Walking Dead. Let's watch season 3, episode 4. Oh, I don't know what's happening. This show's bad.
Fuck it.
Some people get told, oh, you have to check out this episode first or something. Like that happens.
Yeah, I mean, like for instance, like a really recent example was whenever they made In This Corner of the World, which is by the director of what is it? I think it's by Sono Kudabuchi, the guy who directed My Miracle. That was entirely funded by crowdfunding, strictly with a Japanese crowdfunding site.
Yeah.
So it's interesting because like very few people in the West heard about it. Whereas when you have something like Little Witch Academia, the Paradise thing, when it was done and just came out recently, it had a bigger splash because it was like everybody had like signed up for that. And it's crazy
because Little Witch Academia, the first showing of it was at
AX. I mean, that was obvious because it was always going to be more popular in the West than in Japan. I mean,
it's a cartoon.
I mean, if I remember correctly, there was an event that was planned in Japan that had to be cancelled due to lack of interest.
If they had that same event in like New York or California, it would have had a massive turnout.
Yeah, exactly.
Even in Atlanta, funny enough, like Atlanta's a massive nerd city that's something I didn't know until like a couple years ago.
But then you also got to say that, another thing about anime series is that I don't think it could be funded through crowdfunding alone.
Oh no, there's nowhere near enough people there for an entire series.
Nowhere near enough.
There was an attempt. There was an attempt in a very recent one.
What was it?
There was the one that was trying to fund 13 episodes, and I can't remember the specifics of it because I have to look it up because it never came to fruition. But it had some
Devil's Legacy.
Was this actually Devil's Legacy? I think Devil's
Legacy. No, it wasn't. No, it was a mecha anime.
Was it the French one?
It was not the French one. It had some of the French people working on it, I think, though. But
because you know what I'm talking about when I say the French.
No, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I remember that one too, because the French are very big in animation as well. But it's interesting seeing like something like Little Witch Academia come to light finally after like 2 years, because it's like it was at the point where it's like I never thought it would come out.
Well, to be honest, none of us ever thought. This is, you have to understand the origins of Little Witch Academia.
It's Anime Mirai. Yeah. We all know the story. I've told it many times.
Trigger didn't think it was gonna be any it was. To be honest, it was just to help a bunch of upstart animators.
And it is. It is because it is part of Anime Mirai.
Okay. Do you think Death Billiard Do you think that Madhouse made Death Billiards with Death Parade in mind?
I feel like the creator did.
I don't think so. No.
I don't think Madhouse did. I think the director of it.
What happened with it was, so to my understanding, because I've read a paper on this, and what it was it was made with the sole intent of being one episode, and it was not until it got because they wrote all of it, and they wanted to only make it one episode until it proved successful. But the idea was that even if it wasn't successful, they were planning to go through with it regardless. And if it failed, here's the interesting thing was, they were going to rename it something totally different. That was the biggest thing.
Okay, so the thing about Death Parade is that I think, in my opinion, it's the best anime to come out this year. So far, by a long shot. But I would have been very surprised if they wrote all that with just the success of Death Billiards in mind.
Yeah. No, that's what I think, because I feel like,
but that's not that surprising. Like, that's pretty believable.
Because first of all, we have to think it's been a while since Death Billiards came out. That was 2012.
Yeah, it was 2012.
Yeah. Well, that was 2012. So you can get a whole series done in a couple years. But what I'm thinking is the guy who made it, the guy who the name is escaping me right now. But I can feel like he had a concept for what he had already planned out, because you could see the reason why people wanted more of Death Billiards is because on its surface you could see a show there. If you understand what I mean.
It's because Death Billiards is episodic by nature.
Yeah, by its nature.
Because Death Billiards does not close anything up when it ends, and that's why the whole reason Death Parade exists.
One of my friends was talking to me like, "Oh, if they're gonna make a TV show about this, it would just have to be about the bartender." And I'm like, why wouldn't they do that? That's a fucking great idea. And I think
that's what's interesting, because like we talked about this years ago before, when it was just a concept, and then it actually came to fruition.
Yeah, that was really weird.
I was always bitching about how like Little Witch Academia was just so inferior to Death Billiards.
Because I remember I showed you Death Billiards.
Yeah, because this was all in a Potaku episode as well.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was. This was a long time ago, and that's what makes it so interesting, seeing it finally come to light.
Personally,
like
I'd love to see a second season of Death Billiards, and I'd love to see a season 1 of Little Witch Academia.
It'd be really interesting. I think both of them would be really
and also,
I will say, Alan, have you seen Little Witch Academia?
No. I haven't seen Death Billiards either.
I've seen Death Parade.
Because Garant just wants to be like, ending feels long.
Ending feels. No,
I saw the second episode of Little Witch Academia.
I was very surprised. I came into it not because I didn't really like the first. Oh, it's not. I didn't like it. I didn't see what was so special.
Oh my God! The masters were the same the whole time. It was VGO.
I didn't see what was so special about the first episode.
Dude, neither did I.
It was like, oh my God, this is like Harry Potter, except everyone is chicks. Like, I just.
But the movie, right? Paradise.
Yeah.
Was so awesome. I mean, the Enchanted Parade, not Paradise. I was thinking of the other one, which is something totally different.
But
mildly R18.
The thing about it though is, let's think about it this way: what does that mean for Anime Mirai if these two shows have both come out as Anime Mirai projects and have gone on to be very lucrative and successful properties in and of themselves?
It means the Japanese government is the one making the best anime. It means, because they're the one giving the grants for Anime Mirai.
Yeah.
So, to reiterate again, because I'm using this word that people might not know, Anime Mirai is a festival where basically studios volunteer to bring on untrained or new animators and helps train them. That's it. So the maximum is 30 minutes baseline. You're given $300,000 to do it. Have fun.
So does this mean does this mean that studios now are going to be giving projects that?
But to be honest, I don't think this is a bad thing.
Obviously not.
The way I see Anime Mirai is that it's like your university projects where like you can do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
Before you go into the real world where you're just like, oh shit! I have to make money.
I have to make money. I have to worry about shareholders and shit.
I think that's what's really interesting about it, because like if we think about that, right? Anime Mirai also inspired, and even if they deny it as much as they want to, the Animation Project, right?
Yeah.
Animation Expo.
Oh, they definitely.
And Animation
Expo. Let's have a series of me, please. Yeah, that's
can you imagine?
In before me, so deep for you. Ava.
What they'd do, is they'd make it like an Interstellar and just do like an hour-and-a-half version of the song.
Wow, yeah, that's true.
Just get like an hour and a half of Teddy Lloyd.
Just put an hour and a half of Teddy Lloyd actually doesn't sound bad, Alan. I would.
Like, no, the thing is though, could you imagine all the people analysing the film? Like,
oh my god! Oh my god!
I wouldn't even want to look at YouTube after it came out.
I was thinking the same thing.
Just type in that and then.
Oh my god! It would be like if an hour long Me came out, it would be like the entire YouTube anime community would be like,
it would be over.
Oh my god! I gotta analyze every single frame.
I would install a Chrome plugin that just gets rid of all usage.
And you know what they call it, though, don't you? They call it UUU.
Oh my god! Oh my god, dude! It'd be U3 with music by U2. Holy shit!
Oh my god, that'd be amazing.
Dude, Bono's in it, and he's just like, I see the storm twisting.
Hello, hola. I got a place called
it's
Anime.
A beautiful day.
God, and then you just turn on your iPhone, and then it turns out they uploaded the entire movie on your iPhone.
U3 is just there on your phone.
Wait, does that mean that they'd end up fucking screening it at Live Aid?
Yes, it would.
There you go. Anime's mainstream confirmed. We've just predicted the entire future of how the spectrum will unfold.
Oh boy, that would actually be like. I feel like. I know you guys are making jokes about this, but how crazy?
Yes, it's definitely a joke, Jimmy. I don't think they're going to play an hour and a half long me at Live Aid.
No, what I mean is, how crazy would it be if we saw more like? Because we've been noticing it's been slipping through the cracks. Anime is starting to slip droplet by droplet into the mainstream. We see Hatsune Miku on David.
Oh, you hate it, don't you, Jimmy? You hate
you hate it. You made a video
about it. Oh my god, anime mainstreams. Fuck you.
Leave it for us. Leave it. I don't want to deal with it.
Anime is fine. Normal people aren't allowed it.
I don't want new people into anime.
They call it anime.
They don't even understand. It's in dub first? What the fuck is that?
All they do is they just think it's porn and weird.
Well, anyway, I feel like me and Gant have had this discussion before. Gant used to tell me the long-term goal is to get everybody to care, like not care, but respect and at least understand anime on a wide scale. And for that to happen, I've always said the medium itself wouldn't be what it is if it did that. And
I disagree.
I feel like you're wrong.
Mostly.
You're Jimmy. You just said something. I feel like you're wrong, but I'm not sure why.
No. Just because I don't feel like the medium needs to change. Because I feel like in general, right now, weird things are becoming more acceptable.
Do you think Prison School could air on
primetime TV?
No, but I'm not saying that Prison School will be the norm, because at the moment Prison School is not
Prison
the norm.
School isn't Prison School is not the norm, obviously.
No, it's far from.
To be honest, I don't think I'd want to live in a world where like every single person out there, like all of them thought that Monster Musume was the norm. Can you imagine just walking down the streets, like just how the world would be?
But it's not the norm it's not the norm in anime either. That's what makes so much sense.
But if that became it's just weird, man. You encounter people like that. It's crazy. I went into a bookshop the other day, and there was a girl in the manga section, and she just like had an anime voice on the entire time, like this little kawaii voice, and I was like, oh my god, like is that her real voice? Please I don't think that's her real voice. This is weirding me the fuck out.
Oh, well, the thing is,
I have encountered that.
Imagine living in that world where everyone is that girl.
I remember Gant told me about this one day. It felt like he went into a different dimension where everybody for the whole day he just saw anime references.
Yeah. So like I was just having like a normal, just a casual, day out. I was just in the city or whatever, and then I was sitting in Subway, and out of nowhere I just hear someone singing the Panty and Stocking opening like in the background.
Wow.
And I was just like, okay, that's not something you hear all fucking day, and it's just a group of guys singing Panty and Stocking, and then so I walk out, and I walk around the corner. and I was walking home, and about in American terms, 2 blocks or so away, I just see someone holding like a Kill la Kill scissor blade, just half of it.
I remember. I remember this now.
And I was just like, am I in opposite world right now? Is there some kind of anime con I'm not aware of? Like what the fuck is going on? It's so jarring.
Just to see it, and like. When an anime convention is around, right? The world is into anime.
That's normal.
In your mind, it makes sense that the world is into anime.
I think it's a really interesting period.
But whenever that's because it's like Christmas.
No. I'll tell you what's really weird. So you spend a few days at an anime con, and that becomes a norm, and then you go out of it, and you're just like, what the fuck is this world I live in?
Yeah, the best thing though is that when you're at a con that's like in a hotel or somewhere generally public with normal people there, just assessing people's reactions to all the anime people around.
My favorite, right? Okay, so at Anime Central this year, right? Someone, I don't know who choreographed this or planned it, but there's always usually a prom that goes on after the day of the convention. So all these people, right? All these high schoolers showing up with their dates and shit, right? Wearing all of their spiffy clothes, and you see all these fucking weebs walking out of the convention, being the most just incessant group of assholes you've ever seen.
So some of the people, like for example, at Kitacon a few years ago, there was a person there who tweeted on social media, and someone like from the con spotted it, and he was just like, I can't get any freaking time to myself at this at this hotel because of this convention. Bloody manga shaggers. Manga shaggers. That became a thing.
I want that as a t-shirt. Bloody hell.
My God.
I think at the same convention, I think someone I know overheard some people talking, and they're just like, so what are all these people? Why are they like that? And it's like, oh yeah, these are like, this was completely deadpan. They're just like, oh yeah, these are Dragon Ball Zs, people who dress up like Pokemon.
Wow.
Oh my God.
That's normal people, man.
That's Cowboy Bebop at his computer right there. Like at its
Cowboy Bebop at his computer.
At the 100%. Like,
dude,
it's even you guys think it's crazy in like England and stuff. You should come somewhere conservative like the South of America. In Georgia, if you want to see the funniest regular people reacting to shit at conventions, like, go to Dragon Con or AWA, because AWA happens and there's a sky bridge that connects to a mall, and the people go from the hotel to the mall, and
this is already sounding like Zankin Hotel. Just a complete terrorist. People go from just the infected, just with all the normal people. Just all of us are fucking infected.
So basically, they go into the mall in their full-on cosplay.
My God!
So I see this group of girls, and they are literally every Toho and magical girl character you can imagine, with the most brightly colored outfits on. And I'm sick because I got there and I was about to go to the convention, but I wanted to get something to eat first. So me and my friend Kareem were just sitting down. And what happened was, we look over and we just see them, and it's like Flight of the Valkyries. You just see a whole swarm of them coming into the food court, and Kareem kept looking at them. My immediate reaction was to look at what everyone around me was looking at, and they all looked like they had seen the end of the world.
Did you think they were all like bloody manga shaggers?
So for me, right? For me, it was really similar. So this, instead of
hashtag manga shaggers.
Hashtag manga shaggers.
So Gar, you've been to my apartment, right? It's in the city, right? So I moved like down the street, so it's not much different. But so me and all the guys, we were all staying at my house instead of the hotel. So we'd all take the train there, right, in the morning. And I remember whenever you go on the train, you would see these people at like the connecting Jackson Blue line, just dressed up as all of the characters from No Game, No Life. And I distinctly remember that because they have like ears and tails and stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
I distinctly remember an old woman approaching one of them and asking her if there was some kind of pet parade. And I remember just thinking, you only wish that was the case.
Oh wow, you wish that was what's happening.
Because it's so interesting, because it's just like, you'll just see people like the one that I most distinctly remember, because it was just everywhere this year, was whenever you saw the the pink-haired girl from Danganronpa, right? Remember that?
Oh, Junko. Yeah.
I don't know how she's still popular, but somehow she is.
Because fucking everyone dresses as her.
Yeah,
everyone. So I think that's like the easiest one to do.
Even Mrs. Manitapo dresses as her. Like,
because I remember that, and I remember seeing those people on the train at like, I don't know, it's like 11 o'clock because like everything's closing or something, and just watching that come home, and just thinking, man, everyone else is just, I feel really bad for them. And then the next night on Saturday, it was 4 a.m. because it was the end of the rave guard, right?
Oh, wow.
So we get on the train, and there's just a bunch of drunk people, right? And we, at the station, we just introduce all these fucking people who look like they're from the post-apocalyptic world of Mad Max wearing glow sticks. These drunk people started just freaking the fuck out. Because these people are wearing gas masks. You know what I'm talking about, guys.
Yeah.
Standard rave gear. But these drunk people from the casino down the street were like, holy fuck, we're gonna get gas.
Like, the thing is, it's so crazy when you think that, like...
But can you imagine how fucking scary
how fucking scared people would be. But the weirdest thing is just, even outside of conventions, like, just how normal people react to, you know, to the stuff we're into, like manga and anime.
Yeah, I think that's always like standing next to the manga. Yeah,
when I'm on the manga
is so
aisle,
interesting.
Let me tell you what happened last time I was at Barnes and Noble. I was there just to, you know, because I always go. It's right opposite the mall.
R.I.P. Barnes and Noble.
It's right opposite the mall, so I just go to Barnes and Noble just to hang out and just look at the manga there. These, like, I could tell they were high schoolers. They walk in and the Ava manga was like on the like, you know, on the display thing.
The Viz reprint.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I look over and I see them and I'm like, okay, normal people. Let me just look the other way. And then one of them picks up the Ava manga. I was like, hey, why don't you read this? Neon Genesis Evangelion. And I just thought, and I looked to myself and I was like, okay. And then this one obnoxious kid was like, I don't even know who the hell reads this crap. And I was just like,
internal. Whenever you hear that shit, internally, it's just this personal attack on you. Yeah. And you're just like, I want to fucking eviscerate you.
You just need to walk over and be like, excuse me, sir.
No, Jimmy. Is this what happens? Is this what happens before you go on a Twitter rant? Because I feel like this is your trigger.
No, let me tell you what
happened. Man, I know what we've got here, yeah. It's like when that happens to Jimmy, he's got like a slot machine in his head, and just after that happens, just all 3 slots just land on triggered.
No, let me tell you what happens, right?
Each one is like, it's the next thing that happens, and then ER, like each of the slots do.
The same kid that said that, I looked away, and then after he said that, I looked towards him, and he knows what he just said, and he noticed me there. So he made direct eye contact with me. And I gave him the biggest death glare I could possibly muster.
Were you wearing like a Yoko t-shirt at the time?
No. I was wearing Jimmy fashion.
What's Jimmy fashion consist of?
Hoodie and a nerd hat.
I was gonna say a nerd hat, but you're trying to phase out recently.
Basically.
R.I.P. Lids.
Yeah. So
it's like Holden's with his Hawaiian shirts and nerd shirts inside.
Okay, that's great looking, by the
way. So basically, what happened was I looked away. I tried to pretend they weren't there. So this big, and I don't mean to like make this guy's race a big deal, but huge black security guard.
I don't mean to make this guy's race a big deal. Put the biggest emphasis on his race in your words.
Huge black security guard walks into the section, looks at me, then looks towards a volume of Shinsekai Yori, picks it up and starts reading it, and smiles to himself.
And the Shinsekai Yori manga's like horrible.
Yeah, no, and the thing is,
it's just like ecchi Yuri bollocks that doesn't do anything good the series did.
Here's the crazy part. He puts it down, picked up another one, and says, I think I've already read this one. And I was just like, and I just looked at him and I was just like,
I think he was trying to be cool.
Really?
I think he wanted to be your friend.
Did you just go over there and just be like, yo fam, give us a hug?
I wanted to, but it was the most bizarre thing. Because it's like, you know, obviously the typical, big black guy, he doesn't like anime. But, like, it was specifically that he picked up Shinsekai Yori, the manga version, which Alan knows is the most raunchy thing ever. Yep. And it's just like, wow. And both of those things happened directly after each other. So it's like, this is what happens in one's life when they decide to see how regular people or other people aside from them interact with anime or manga.
It's really crazy. Because, I mean, like, for instance, with manga, just a really interesting side note that I think is important to bring up is recently, just announced, like, I think like yesterday even, there was the Square Enix manga, the anthology, which is Young Gangan, which is the thing that Renkin Jutsu no, like, what was it? Fullmetal Alchemist ran in it, and Soul Eater ran in it, and can't think of anything else. But those are the major ones. But whatever, it's a Square Enix magazine for manga. What they announced was that they're actually going to be readapting Baccano as another manga. And I say another manga because in 2006 it was adapted in preparation for the 2007 anime. So this is really interesting because we're adapting Baccano once more.
If Baccano season 2 gets announced, I'm just gonna have the biggest boner of all time.
It's not happening.
What's interesting is that
they're shitting out Durarara seasons like they're bloody lemons.
I mean,
what's interesting is that this manga, the belief is, my belief at least, this whole time, because if you look at the history, in 2006 when they released the last adaptation, that was made purely to generate hype for the anime. So what's interesting is that if history repeats itself, we would get season 2 of Baccano, which is really crazy.
Holden tried to pull the same shit before, and it was like, hey, there's a big announcement for Nichijou coming, and then
no, but I mean, it was a special edition. I mean, I wasn't. Am I glad there's no season 2? Absolutely. It means you're unhappy. That's what I live for.
Holden was like, hey, there's a big announcement for Nichijou.
I'm the harbinger of hope. I'm the harbinger of hope and the bringer of defeat. What can I say?
So I can't, because the thing is,
I'm just saying, if you want to read a Baccano manga, because you can't read the light novels, you can't.
My most anticipated season sequels are Haruhi season 3, Baccano season 2, and Nichijou season 2, and none of those are happening ever. So I've come to terms with that. And
that's because it's been so long. Except if someone dangles a carrot, like right in front of your face, I'm gonna fucking grab that.
To be fair, that bloody carrot will have gone moldy by now.
Yeah, so
I don't fucking care, man. Like, I don't know. I mean, fuck.
I'm cool with there never being, because that's the reason I put it in the video. Season 2 of Baccano, never ever. So,
but if it happens, you look like an idiot.
If it happens, sometimes I want to look like an idiot if getting another season of Baccano is
I mean, you do that pretty well, Jimmy. Like on your own.
Effort not required. Bronzy low in the house. Okay, so I think, but so like it's a really big thing because it brings back the idea of stuff that was impossible, right? So I think if we want to talk about impossible shit, we can talk about Ushiro no Tora, which just aired this season. I don't know if anyone's seen it, but it's a series.
I've heard it's pretty damn good.
A 1990, it was last came out in the 1990s. So the fact that it even exists is kind of just like this weird, like crazy. Like I don't know how it happened.
Okay, I'll tell you how it happens.
It's a perfect storm.
I will tell you how it happened.
Because in 1992, when it came out, it wasn't received that well. You know, it was a 30-minute like OVA series with like 10 episodes, and now it's back. It's
which series?
I'll tell you how it happened. Okay, it's because of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
It's possible.
I mean, it's because the JoJo remakes have been so well received.
Did I talk about this?
I mean, they've been fucking
the season
awesome.
2 reboot though is not, which is really interesting. Stardust Crusaders is performing way less.
And you would actually think that since that was actually the first season that a lot of people have seen, like I know people who before the 2012 anime happened and they had caught up with the manga and were reading JoJo Leon, they were like, oh yeah, I've never read Phantom Blood or Battle Tendency.
Oh man!
And I knew people.
What do you mean, like Battle Tendency's pro, man? I won't have you say anything else.
Joseph is the best JoJo, so.
Okay, that's wrong. First off,
Joseph is the best JoJo.
Josuke is by far the best character, and I'm glad the writer agrees with me because that's all that matters.
What the fuck happened to Joseph in the third season?
Joseph is the best. Joseph is the best.
He got old, and he got a really shit stand.
He got old, and then in season 4 he gets older.
Yeah.
and then in season 4 he gets even older.
Can you imagine if Joseph got a really badass stand, just like Josuke? Like he would have been the most.
Josuke is like. He's just Araki's favorite character.
He just basically became Indiana Jones.
Josuke's just a really cool character. He's just the best.
Also, like, how does Joseph reconcile dressing so androgynously and then becoming so macho in his old years? Like, what if anyone sees an old picture like, oh, that was just a phase? I only bore my midriff.
And hey, no. I don't care. Like, if you say he dressed femininely, he was gar as fuck.
Oh no, he was. That's not the thing. I'm just saying it doesn't jive with it. Wouldn't you expect him to like grow up with that like flamboyant tendency to him?
As someone who dresses flamboyantly currently, as the resident like retired dressing person, I cannot guarantee that I'll always dress like an idiot. I can only
Holden's just going to be 80 years old, and he's just going to be rocking his Hawaiian shirt still.
It's possible.
Same
it's
for you,
ideal.
You're going to be like metrosexual till I die.
Holden will be actual Master Roshi. Like,
that's like IRL. The idea. Dude, that would be hype. I would be.
Speaking of time skips.
I know, we're just adding more time skips to this one already. But, like, so, like, I think that's just really interesting how, like, even that kind of existing. I mean, like, even more recently, we have, like, Arlen Senki, right? Yeah. Where it's like, wow, this was like last time this happened was in also the 1990s.
Because I actually poked a little bit at this in the video I made. How there's a movement now where really old manga are getting remade, and for example, I feel like it kind of has its roots with Hunter x Hunter, back in 2011, but but it also has a lot of its roots with JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, as you rightly said. So I'm thinking, which other old manga that didn't really get its time to shine properly is gonna,
5-star stories, 5-star stories, 5-star stories, 5-star stories, 5-star. Please, for the love of fucking God, give me a 5-star stories anime. I'd cut off my penis to watch that.
I know.
I don't think they'll ever make it.
They won't. I know they won't. I
absolutely know they won't. It just got a new volume, though.
It did. I'm so glad that it's continued. Oh my God.
I mean, like, speaking of continuing, we can talk about how Berserk is coming back more regularly now, which is crazy. I guess that's something that we never thought would happen.
But the thing is, the funniest part about that is, like, it doesn't always work when you bring back old manga. For example,
no, it doesn't.
For example, what's that show called again? Psycho something.
Psycho.
No. Parasite. That's what it was.
Psycho something. Okay.
Yeah.
Doesn't work. Brings up Parasite. What the fuck are you smoking?
Parasite was it worked as in it's popular, but like it sometimes.
It's better than the manga.
Is it?
It looks better than manga.
Yeah, yes. It is loads better.
It looks better than the manga.
I enjoyed it. I had some problems towards the end though.
I feel like it's towards...
Those problems would not be alleviated in the manga.
What problems did you have with Parasite?
It's not bad. It wasn't bad.
I mean, I'm not saying it's a fucking masterpiece, because it's not, but it's certainly not bad.
Also, the same thing is, Usho Totoro has kind of the same problems, because anime and manga aren't the same as they were 20 years ago. And Usho Totoro is such a faithful adaptation, for better or for worse, that it shows this very well. Like, you see,
but that is its selling point.
Yeah, you watch it and you're like, wow, this is just like if I was back in.
It's supposed to.
The Yellow Subs days.
It would be more interesting to see how older,
before Yellow Subs,
how younger people react to it.
Yeah, actually,
like, I think that would be interesting. Because we react in a very different way than, for instance, a 14-year-old or 13-year-old,
exactly,
who maybe just got into it recently.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I don't think it would have the same effect. It would, because they'd kind of look at it and they'd be like, "Wow, it's just like Ninja Slayer from animation." Like, it's just really weird and bad.
Actually, no. Me and Holden talked about this. Ninja Slayer from animation is like the most.
It's just the biggest train wreck ever.
The most unfair bait and switch. The most.
Like, everything they showed was like Jimmy was. It was so funny because I was like, it's gonna be awful again.
And I was just like,
I was like, you did the same thing with Kill la Kill.
No.
And like, here we are a year later with this time the animation.
No, it's because when I didn't like Kill la Kill,
you do this every time.
But it's like when I didn't like Kill la Kill, and I've changed my opinion on Kill la Kill to some degree. I don't hate it. I think it's
okay. We're not talking about that. We're talking about from animation.
We're not going to ask you about Kill la Kill, Jimmy. Because goddamn, I do not know what you fucking think of Kill la Kill.
Nor do I.
I don't even think Jimmy knows what he thinks about Kill la Kill.
What I mean to say is, at least I was like,
but Ninja Slayer.
My expectations can't be bad again. Like, they can't mess my I know they're gonna.
Thunder always strikes.
Like I was like, I know what the worst of Trigger looks like. Okay, but I forgot to think to myself that the worst of Trigger could possibly look like Inferno Cop. And I was just like,
you just thought, oh, they can't possibly do this again because they've made proper series now and they're not just a start-up studio.
It's amazing because to this day,
the thing is, like, Inferno Cop's a joke though, and it's like self-aware.
Yeah, that's the thing. And I know Ninja Slayer.
So it kind of works. Too. It's funny.
Ninja Slayer is kind of like that too. But it's like you look at it and you're like. Like the moment that it hits you, because you're thinking, all right, Ninja Slayer, it's gonna be great, but the moment that it hits you is when that
was anyone thinking that? Was anyone thinking Ninja Slayer was gonna be great?
No, not great, not great.
I mean, like even I saw the PV and I was like, this looks pretty bad.
Basically, I watched the trailer and I was like, if the show is anything like this, it's gonna be trash.
Yeah,
I was like,
and it was even worse.
I saw the trailer.
I was like, wow, so like they're releasing a Newgrounds show as an anime.
Did they actually rock with the 4x3 in the end and those non-web safe colors?
Yes.
I did rock with. I did see the I saw the video, and I saw that, like, I saw how it looked. I saw how all the characters moved and everything. I was like, you know what? If this is the show, I can't fault it. I'll watch it. I'll like it. But then it just wasn't that at all. It was. It looked like something. It looked like. It was Inferno Cop minus Inferno Cop.
It was low quality bait, and you took a bite.
Yeah, I mean, to this day, I will always say Ino Battle is my favorite anime triggers ever made. Followed shortly by the newest Little Witch Academia, The Parade. It's just crazy that like Jimmy was just wrong twice. I just had to bring that up.
And also I've heard from people that they're making a second TV adaptation, which is going to be serious and an actual show. Hopefully.
Here we go again.
That when Jesus comes to Earth, we're all gonna die.
Fool me once,
fool me twice, and they're gonna fuck it. I'm gonna let them fool me a third time because from what I've heard from like the showing that they had at Anime Expo, it sounds pretty cool. It sounds like the characters look like they're from Persona, and like.
You say this about like everything. Like you said this about God Eater, and look what happened. Like I just wish you'd just stop talking about anime that I'm interested in.
I'm honestly just so glad I've completely stopped watching like seasonal and up to date things, because it's hard to get disappointed and sort of knocked down when you watch just mecha shows from like 40 years ago.
That's an interesting idea.
You know what to expect. It's like I know what this is going to be like.
Yeah.
To be fair, I do like God Eater, but it is not. Oh. I expected it to be this because I don't think any video game adaptation. I was I've never seen a good video game adaptation in my life, so I don't think they're gonna start now.
And I talked about this with Digi. Like I thought about this on my podcast with Digi. Like I knew what to expect because I've played God Eater.
Well, I didn't, all of it. And I was very disappointed.
I know a lot of people were disappointed and unhappy with how it turned out. And I don't know.
It wasn't just disappointing. Like it wasn't even bad. It was just.
I don't know what to tell. I don't know what to tell those people.
It was just underwhelming.
Ufotable continues to prove that they are like the most technologically advanced animation studio, if nothing else.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, like, I felt more fucking passion in what was that? What was that the fish anime? Gyo. Yeah, I felt more passion in Gyo than I did for fucking God Eater.
You want to know why? And I think, and to be honest, maybe it's just because it's a video game adaptation.
I think it's literally just it's a video game.
And the problem with that is that Ufotable's next anime on the chopping board is a Tales of adaptation.
And the thing is, if they fuck up a Tales adaptation,
but they've done that before. Like you guys say, like if they fuck it up, like they have. They've done it for years.
They didn't fuck them up though. Those were over.
Was Tales of Symphonia bad? I mean, I just remember. Like, there's no way you're going to fit like an RPG storyline in 4 OVA episodes.
The problem was that they just cut out loads of shit. They cut out entire characters. They cut out entire they cut out entire like arcs of the game.
It's kind of what you have to do in order to make
it work. Yeah.
Like I think the optimal way to go with a video game anime of any kind is kind of like an addition rather than an adaptation, like Advent Children and stuff like that.
The only anime like based on a video game that I think has managed and it wasn't necessarily great, but it managed to get all the ideas and things.
Are you gonna say? Okay, let me just think before you. I'm gonna say, Before Afro Samurai.
No, that's not a video game adaptation.
Well, first off, they were simultaneously released.
They weren't simultaneously released. They were released like 2 years apart from each other.
But they were they're from the same thread.
Anyway, like the one show I think it is, and surprisingly, it's another Tales adaptation, Tales of the Abyss by Sunrise.
Abyss, my god.
Tales of the Abyss by Sunrise, while it isn't like a 10 out of 10 anime, it's a pretty decent one, and it fits all of the stuff in the Tales.
No, it does.
It fits all of the stuff in the Tales game into
my favorite video game adaptation is Sword Art Online.
My favorite one is Persona 4, the animation.
My favorite video game adaptation is all the Dragon Ball Z animes, because
I think it's really interesting that you bring up like that idea of the passion behind it, because if you look at something like, for instance, like Roku no Yusha, right?
Yeah.
Which is made by Studio Passion, which made Rail Wars, which is still like one of my favorite.
Rail Wars is badass.
Roku no Yusha, because Rail Wars is amazing,
and everyone hates it, and they shouldn't because it was pro.
My problem with Roku no Yusha is the exposition. I just can't get behind it. It's too much.
Was Roku no Yusha the one with the trailer where the guy had like braces that shot fire?
No. Wait, what? No.
What?
No.
What was that trailer?
That sounds fucking amazing.
Oh my god.
That one sounds fucking beast, yo. What the fuck?
I'll try and find what it was. Because that show looked like it was going to be great.
Braces that shoot fire.
Yeah, man. He like bit down and then fire came out.
Anime. Oh, yeah. I think. Did the guy have red hair?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Roku no Yusha. Yeah. I was
the way he described it was a lot cooler than it actually was.
The way he described it, like, I was thinking like the dude has like braces on his teeth, and like he clenches his teeth and just shoots the fucking
just flamethrowers from each of them.
That's what he did in the trailer.
That's not what he did in the trailer. Yeah,
it is.
I don't know what he did in the trailer, but it wasn't that.
He bit down on something.
You're just jealous because he's spitting more fire than your mixtapes, Jimmy.
There it is.
Oh, the burn!
The only thing burning is Jimmy's rap career. But Roku no Yusha is really interesting because it's a new studio, and that's very evident. But they're really trying.
Yeah. I am enjoying Roku no Yusha a lot.
It's something that's just like you look at and you have to see all of the manpower, well, not even manpower, all the dedication, I guess, behind it.
Because like they do a lot.
Passione is a very weak studio, like manpower wise.
Do you want to know why they're doing so well? Because it's not the studio necessarily; it's the people behind it. Because they've got a lot of, the people working on this particular show.
Yeah, I mean, like these are all veterans. They've all worked on Rail. Like they've worked on Rail Wars. Like, they are well equipped.
The animation director actually was one of the animators on Code Geass. Was one of the lead animators on Code Geass.
Well, the thing is, I remember when we first saw the Rail Wars trailer, and we were like, "What the fuck is this? And why does it look so good?"
That's
like, you know what I mean?
I remember
Passion is always, for some reason, they're a studio that their shows look way better than they have any business looking. Like,
yeah, I mean, but like, I think that's what's so interesting, right? Because I really, honestly do love Rail Wars. I think it's a really fun show. But I think that's what's so interesting is that they're willing to put so much effort into something that everyone else would write off.
Yeah.
Because they're fully aware of what they're creating is not going to be publicly received. And that's what I love about it, because they're doing it because they love it. And that's what I think is really getting across with Roku no Yusha.
Yeah, but as I said earlier, the only problem I really have with Roku no Yusha is there's not that much thought put in. There's not that much thought put into how they're structuring the series, because there's too many dead zones, too many.
That's all subjective. I mean, I understand.
Is it an adaptation or is it original?
It's an adaptation.
It's an adaptation. So
it's
of a light novel. So that's most likely the issue, just because there's a whole light novels have a lot of dialogue, and light novels also tend, especially
light novels have no pictures. They're shit.
No, they do have the odd picture.
They
have the odd picture drawn by Vofan.
Because even Rail Wars had that too. That was also a light novel series.
Yeah. So, and the thing is, a lot of this isn't just in light novels, but a lot of Japanese work in general loves to build. Loves world building. Like,
that's why I love Index so much. Why I've always read that.
Yeah,
Index's world building is kind of why you read it.
A lot of Japanese media has but not world building. They just go all out with it.
I just watched the NHK and I'm like, wow, look at all this news. It's crazy. All of Japanese television. I'm just like, damn. There's like a whole globe. Fuck.
Oh man, Who's this Obama character? Yeah. He seems like a boss.
I was like, ISIS-chan.
ISIS-chan.
Who is this 4chan?
Who is the hacker known as 4chan?
Who is this 4chan?
Right.
Change your password to a password with cash signs.
Speaking of passion, though, yeah. Has anyone else started watching Pillow Boys?
Pillow Boys? What the fuck is Pillow Boys?
You don't know what Pillow Boys is?
No,
right?
I don't fucking know what Pillow Boys is.
Macro no Danshi, right? Studio Feel, right? It's a 4-minute short series.
Yeah.
Where a boy talks you to sleep. And it's a new boy every episode.
Yes.
And it's fucking amazing. And it's proper, like... They get proper seedy about it, too. Like in one of the most recent
Sarah,
episodes.
Where are you when we need you, Sarah?
Wait.
One of the most recent episodes, the guy's like in a music room.
I'll make you squeal.
He says, the next instrument I'm going to be playing is you.
Oh my god.
You have to watch this show, guy.
On the opposite side of the coin, if you want to watch Bikini Warriors, please go ahead. It's amazing.
Also, it's amazing. It's about exactly what it sounds like.
It is the most forward Japan's been with me since the unveiling of the GameCube.
Also,
it's amazing.
Speaking of stuff aimed at guys, guess what I've been reading recently? A lot of.
Oh, you've been. I know what you're gonna say.
What?
I think.
Hey, Joseph Joestar.
You've been reading some Prison School.
Yeah. How'd you know that?
It's airing.
Because it's airing, and I know you've been interested in it for a while beforehand.
Yeah. Man, I still take all the credit for that being popular.
Let me put it this way. I started reading it, and I continued from where I stopped in the show. Because I watched the show up until the point I had stopped in the manga. Because it stopped at like 25, like episode 4, and I continued from there, and I kept reading. Oh man, fuck me!
This is really fucking amazing, isn't it?
This is amazing. Like holy shit,
it's just really so good.
I mean, I wasn't lying. God, was it like 2 years ago that I recommended
That was like 2 years ago.
I remember I just came on a podcast once and I was like, everybody should read Prison School. And then all of a sudden it gets just everyone starts
because I remember I really wanted to read it. Like I really wanted to read it because it's right up my alley. But I just never got.
Because you're a pervert, Jimmy.
Of course, I'm a pervert. I just never got around to it.
But
fucking hell, if it isn't one of the best manga I've ever read.
Yes. I would argue that it is the funniest.
It is
by a long
funniest
shot.
manga I've ever read.
We've said this so many times, guys.
Because there's so you can't make this shit up. Some of the shit just doesn't.
Well, someone evidently did.
Obviously, someone like
a work of fiction. You can't make this stuff up.
No, like in the sense of it's just too fucking bizarre. Like the person who came up with
really
this,
good.
It just has to have a wacko brain. Like,
yeah, I'm waiting for my next manga that I find that I just like spike the popularity and get an anime adaptation of just because of Hataku.
Can it be the Kiss Exist manga so we get another season?
I should just do 5-star stories.
Can you just do gangster and just make the gangster anime like
just have better animation?
Because that's the only thing it needs. It's got the designs and the atmosphere.
Okay, guys, before we take this further,
before we go off on gangster route, we have been recording for a long time.
A long time.
And I think that's enough for now. We still have a lot to talk about, of course, which is great, because so we might make another episode in the next year, which is fantastic. Better than my normal upload schedule.
It's only been 9 months, guys. Like, unless this gets like uploaded in about 3 months' time.
Mm-hmm. What's going to happen is we're going to go into another hiatus.
Do it on the anniversary of the Naruto one.
No, thank you.
So with me today, I had Jimmy from Anime Editorial.
Sayonara minasan, thanks for listening.
Alan from Baka Shift.
Goodbye, everybody. I hope you didn't miss us too much. We'll see you again soon.
Garant from the Anime Zone.
And until next time, we'll see you in about a year, I guess.
Yeah,
probably.
Yeah, and I'm Holden from Holden Reviews, and I will see you sooner than a year, hopefully. Yeah. Just check out my own channel whenever you can. Mm-hmm. But that is it for this episode, so thank you everyone for listening. And we'll talk to you guys soon.
Yep.
We'll talk to you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
I'm an arse man, by the way.
Of course you're an arse man. Of course you're a fucking infidel. You're a fucking disgusting trash heap.
I'm just greedy.
And now, please enjoy us trying to draw boobs with waveforms.
We'll see you next time. What we're going to try and do next time is make breasts out of waveforms. And maybe some bums.
It's a bit more difficult.
That doesn't sound like making Oppo with a wave. That just sounds like the sound you make when you've got Oppo in front of you.
I'll just get some, I don't know. I'll just, etch a sketch some boobs or something. I don't know.
Whoa!
I can't be bothered to use this new age art form of like sound art. It's like just fractals and shit.
Oh, just maybe dubstep will do it.
Whoa!
So it has been almost 9 months, which is nothing new to me, or my channel, or anything I do, and that for that matter.
Anyone who got pregnant the night they listened to the J-Taku episode on Naruto might have a baby now. So congrats.
Yes, it's been a long time. Congratulations, Aaron. I'm very happy for you, Aaron. Happily, Aaron.
Yeah.
Soon to have a baby. Conceived prior to post episode 36. And now she's about to have her little Captain Starfighter. So congratulations to you, Aaron.
Wait, is that what she said she's going to name it?
That's the tentative name.
No, she's
not actually going to call her baby Captain Starfighter.
Oh. Yeah. Captain Starfighter.
That'd be kind
of
amazing.
That's gonna be his nickname or his middle name.
A girl called Captain Starfighter.
Oh, so it's a captain. Oh, also okay.
Yes, yeah. Jimmy. Women can be captains too. You sexist
of course,
felon.
it can be a female.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, your favorite character is like that one sadist chick.
She's a major, actually.
She's also garbage can
she's not a sergeant major. She's just a major.
She's a major dickhead.
Major.
Oh,
I don't even know who we're talking about.
We're talking about Olivia Armstrong.
Olivia Armstrong.
Okay.
Yeah.
She's pretty bae.